Hello all, I welcome you on behalf of Edureka for mastering Git and GitHub course. So far, we have looked at different ways of starting and initiating a repository, including the Git architecture, working with remote repositories, how to use branch and how to merge different branches, and also we discussed the different Git workflows. Today, we are going to spend some time with the Git plugin IDE on how to integrate Git plugin IDE within Eclipse or within IntelliJ. And going forward then, we will look at how to push our changes to remote repositories such as GitHub. So first of all, let's look at the Git plugin with IDE Eclipse. So today we will spend some time with the installation of Eclipse IDE, then we'll look at the installation of IntelliJ. We will configure the Git plugin and then work with the Git using IDE. Then we'll work with the Git workflow on Eclipse IDE and explore the GitHub UI options. So for this project, for this demo, we're going to use the GitHub demo URL, this GitHub project. So this is written as Spring Boot, which interacts with the H2 database. We're not interested what lies in the project, but we are more interested in how to use Git for any project that we're using. So we can perform all Git commands, which we will learn throughout this course. So before we even begin with the demo, let's first of all install our JDK. So to install JDK, we can download the Java, which is here. Or let me take you from the initial start. So I download Java. I can go to Oracle, and then in the download section, I have this JDK 11 available. So I can click on the download button. Once I click on the download button, I will be taken to Java SC Development Kit 11 downloads, wherein I have to accept the license agreement and then choose the required installer. For Linux, I prefer RPM or tar.gz. Similarly, for Macs, DMG or tar.gz is also available. Or I can go ahead with the brew install for Mac. On Windows, I can download the exe and then proceed with the installation, which might or might not require the admin rights. So once we have downloaded the JDK or installed it, we can verify it using Java dash version. Let's verify the Java installation. I might be having some older version of Java installed. So the version I have is quite old, it's 1.8. Now let's look at how to install the Eclipse IDE. So to install the Eclipse IDE, I can similarly Google download Eclipse and then I can choose the required version of the Eclipse. So I can download the Eclipse IDE 2018. This is the Eclipse Foundation site. Let's go to the downloads button. I'm getting confused in the version because it generally provides me that what do I want. For example, yes, Eclipse IDE for Java, Eclipse IDE for Java EE. Why I'm not getting this? So let's go to this site and then we can proceed. We'll go to download now. Right, so I can go to this site, download packages, and I can choose the package I want. For example, for there's Eclipse IDE for C++, for JavaScript and web developers, for Java EE. So you can choose whichever version suits you, and I'll generally go with the Java EE developer because so you can go there. So size is 339, and you can download the required package. For example, for Windows 64, Mac OS, Linux, or 32 and 64-bit. For example, if I go to the Eclipse, you can download this version, and once you download the exe, you can install it. Or you can go to the Linux site and then you can install the tar.gz, which you can extract and start using it. Similarly, for Mac OS, you might be getting a DMG file. You are getting a DMG file which you can extract and then push it into the applications folder. Once the Eclipse is installed, since I'm using the Mac OS, it will appear somewhere here. So my system is taking time. Yes, it's available now. So I have Eclipse Mars.2. This is not the latest one. So when you will download, you might get some other version of the Eclipse, which is Yata. So these are the steps again for Eclipse installer. You will get this package. If you're using the Windows, you can click on run and then choose the package to install. So this has changed because earlier they were providing the packages which is directly, or you can install the installer and then choose the package Java, Java EE, or C++, and then you can proceed to the installation. So this is, once it is installed, for example, you can click on the launch button and then this window will appear. So once you have this window, what it will do is it will ask for the workspace. So I can create a temporary workspace right now. So for example, I'll go to temp and then demo, and I'll click OK. Both Eclipse and IntelliJ IDEs are good. If you're comfortable with Eclipse, then you can use this, or you can proceed with IntelliJ. But Eclipse is completely open source, while IntelliJ has two versions. One is the community version, while the other one is the paid version. So now we see that till time this is starting. Let's proceed. So we will install the Eclipse. We provide the workspace name, and then it will open up. Now for downloading the IntelliJ, let's go to this only, and I'll click download IntelliJ. So you can go to IntelliJ IDE, Java IDE, or if you're a Python developer, then you might be interested in installing the PyCharm. So it depends on your requirement. So you can download the Ultimate or the Community Edition. Ultimate is a free trial, I think is for 1 month free, while this is open source Apache 2.0 license. The Community Edition, which I have currently installed, so there are some difference. For example, the JavaScript, Java EE, and the other things might not work, so it is up to you. You can use IntelliJ Community Edition, Ultimate, or you can install the Java. Once you will go to, for example, if I go to the Community Edition, it will ask me just cancel the download. So we are starting the Eclipse now. This is taking a bit of time on my machine, but if you have a better configuration on a system or better RAM, then it will start pretty quickly. In the meantime, we can, okay, so let's start this. Once you launch the Eclipse, you will get this window which will ask you to select a workspace. So I'll choose the demo Eclipse as the workspace, or rather I'll remove the demo, as this is again hanged a bit. I'll choose the demo Eclipse. I'll click OK. Alright, so this is how the workspace will look like. Once the workspace is open, we can create a new project. So I'll create a plain vanilla Java project, since we are not interested in the type of project, but we are more interested in the Git integration with our project. So I'll name this project, let's name it demo, and I have my Java SC 1.8, which is the default one, and I'll click finish. So this is asking for me to whether to open the Java perspective, which is a type of view you will get in the Eclipse. So I said okay. This is the Java project, and this is how it looks like. I have no files in it so far, but I have installed my Eclipse, I've run the executable and provide the workspace. In the same way, we can go ahead and install the IntelliJ. So I'll click download IntelliJ. Now I'll close this Eclipse for now. To download the IntelliJ, we can go to the IntelliJ site, which is jetbrains.com/idea, and here we have two options. One is the Ultimate, which is a paid one, and it has only free trials, which I think is for 1 month, while the other one is a community version, which is free and open source. So community version is Apache 2.0 licensed open source project, while Ultimate one is a commercial one. There is a few options, but we're not going into details. So you can go to Mac OS and you can download, or you can go to Linux and you can select Linux star.gz with or without JDK. You can also go to Windows option if you are working on Windows, and you can select the zip or the exe file. Once downloaded, for example, I have installed the DMJ. I will click on the IntelliJ and it will start. So I'm using the community edition IntelliJ IDEA. Again, I said this does not generally take this much time. If you have enough RAM on your machine, free available RAM, then this will start pretty quickly. Now once you start the IntelliJ, you will get this window, welcome to IntelliJ IDEA, where you can install a new project. So we will create a new project and let's name it. So this is my IntelliJ project. I'm again creating a plain 1.8 Java project. I'll click on next, and I'll name this project as demo, and I'll click finish. So this is how my project looks like. So we have set up our Java, we have installed Java, we have installed one of the IDEs, either Eclipse or the IntelliJ, or we can also go ahead and install the PyCharm. The settings will work as it is, because PyCharm is again a JetBrains IDE. So let's go ahead and set up a project on IntelliJ. We have opened IntelliJ, we have created a new project. Let's initialize now Git in our project. So to initialize the Git, I'll go to VCS, which is version control system if you remember, and I'll click on enable version control integration. Once I do this, I'll go ahead and select the Git from the drop down, which is the only option I have, and I'll click OK. If you have SVN or other such VCS installed, then you get those in the option as well. Now once I have clicked on the OK, then I'll get this message, created Git repository in my project. So this is now a Git project. How can I verify it? Let me go to, I have the .git folder created in it now. So I have initialized the Git repository. Now I'll go ahead and set the remotes. Okay, now to create the repository, I'll again go to, or to set the remotes, instead of, now I have two options in the Git. Either if I have an existing project, I can go to the remotes and then copy the remotes from the GitHub. So I can go to, for example, if my project, let's say module 3 would have been there, then I'll go there and I'll go to the GitHub page and I'll copy the Git URL. Just like the clone, I'll copy this URL and I'll come here, I'll click on Git remotes, which I came again from VCS, Git remotes. I'll click on the @ origin and provide the URL and I'll click OK. So what it will do is it will link this local Git project with the one in the GitHub. I'll just remove it for now, or I can go to VCS and then go to import into version control and say that share the project on GitHub. So this is, I have already logged in, otherwise it would ask for the project. So I have the option, the repository name, private or public, origin, and the description. Let's paste. This is a demo project for IntelliJ for Git, let's say. I'll click on share. So now I'm getting what files I want to add. So I'll add all the files. Generally, I prefer not to push the .idf files, but let's push it for now because these are the settings related to my personal repository. Now it is asking for credentials. I'll just put in. I'll deny this one because this is the Mac keychain, which I have not linked this yet. This will ask for my, so project is successfully shared on the GitHub. Let's go to GitHub and let's go to my repositories. I have this demo project and it has already provided a description which I have put in the window. This is a demo project for Git. I have the IDE files and the demo.iml. I have no readme now. So we set the remotes. Now let's look at the remotes for this project again. So we can go to Git and I'll click on the remotes, and this is the same remote now, demo.git. If you go to here, then you get the same github demo.git. Now let's commit some code into it. So let's add the readme.md file. I got this is hang. Let's not add the readme.md. Let's create a new Java class. Let's name it Edureka demo. Now I'm not interested in writing code for this, so I'll just add one comment. Now once this is done, what I'll do is I'll again go to VCS and I'll click on commit, and I'm getting the untracked file. So I'll click on the Edureka GitHub demo and I'll put in my comments, adding dummy file. I'll now have the option of either creating a patch or we can create a commit. So I'll click on commit. I'll just skip the warnings. One file has been added to, this is now into my local repository, because if I go to Git and if I do refresh, then this file is not there. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll go to my VCS again. I go to Git and I'll do push. I'm getting this file Edureka demo along with the comment adding dummy file. So I'll push this onto my GitHub. So I have this source folder pushed and I have this Edureka demo. If I look at the contents, this is the file I have. Now we committed the code and we pushed the code to the repository as well, and we verified it on GitHub. So what we did is we created a new project, initialized that in the repository, initialized the Git in the project, then we pushed it to GitHub or set the remotes, then we commit the code, and then we pushed the code to the repository and verified it on GitHub. Now in the second demo, let's check out the same project directly from GitHub in IntelliJ. So what I'll do is I'll open the IntelliJ, check out the project from version control, provide the Git URL, select the project type and select the JDK version. So first of all, let me close this project and let's go to our main project demo. We'll go ahead and clone this directly. I'll copy this URL and I'll say import for version control. I'll provide the URL. Instead of testing, I'll just click on, let's name it something else. Let's claim it demo, import demo IM. I clone it. So I have checked out the demo IM. Would you, it is asking would I like to open it. I'll say yes, and I have this project now. If I go to VCS and if I check the remotes, then this remote is there. Now to select the project type or to add the Maven and select the JDK version, I can go to IntelliJ in this preferences, and I can go to, not the plugins, I'll go to build tools, and I can set the Maven, Git, or whatever I want. And for Java, I can go to compiler, not the compiler. I'll go to Java compiler and I can choose the version that I want. And based on this version, I can choose whatever I want from my project. Now I prefer not to push the .idea, but once we do this, then we'll have to push the .idea. Now let's use some Git operations using the IntelliJ. So what we are going to do, we check out project IntelliJ, which we already did. We'll create a branch and we'll push that branch to the VCS or our GitHub. We'll verify it. Then we modify any file and commit it and then push it to the remote. So let's first of all create the branch. Now to create a branch, I'll go to VCS and then Git, and I'll say branches. Now this is one way. Other way could have been, I will go to the bottom right corner, I could click on Git, and then I can choose new branch. So let's name the branch name feature, and I'll check out the branch. So this branch is right now on the local. Now once I have provided the branch, and I'll push this branch now. So I'll go to Git, I'll click on push, and I'm creating a new branch. So push successful. Now let's go to the project and let's see if the push. Okay, I have the feature branch now, which is here. We have verified on GitHub and validated it. Now we modify any file and push it to the new branch. So let's modify the file Edureka GitHub, and let's not push into. This is a dummy file that's added for branch demo. Now I'm ignoring these warnings for now because I'm more interested in the Git. Now I'll commit this into my, alright, now I'll say demo for Git branching. Okay, one file is committed. Now I'll go to Git and I'll say push, and I'll push in it to the remote. Now I'm getting this pop-up for the macOS keychain, which I'm not using for this GitHub account. So I push one commit to origin feature. Let's go to origin feature and see if it is there. Now I'll go to the Edureka demo, and this is dummy file for grid branching demo. If I go to my master now, so there's a difference in the file, right? So we modified a file, VCS menu commit with message. We pushed the commit to remote. Now we went to GitHub UI and checked. Let's include a readme.md file for this project from the here, and then we can download it using the git pull. Now if you are on GitHub, then I'll suggest you can include your project installation using the readme.md. Even if you're using the company's internal, the private GitHub account, then this is a really great way to capture your project documentation is, including the installation or the configuration. So this is how the preview will look like. It will format the markdown file for you. So I'll commit this directly to the master branch. So we have a new file readme.md in master, but if I go to feature, we do not have a readme.md now, which is fine. So I'll go to IntelliJ and let's switch the branch. So there are two ways to switch. Again, VCS, which is long way, I go to branches and then I say okay, I'll go to this master and say checkout. Otherwise I'll just click on this right hand corner, I go to master local branches, click on it, and then click on checkout. Workspace shared with branch master has been restored. So if I go to VCS now to pull, I'll go to VCS, I go to Git, then I go to pull here. So pull is saying current branch master, remote is origin, and the branches to merge origin master. So I'm getting this that there is a new file which is readme.md included. Now if I open this file, yes, this is the correct file we have. We went to VCS and create a pull request. We selected base branch as master. We verified the pull request and checked. We merged the pull request from GitHub UI. We click on merge request, and now we have our base branch. So now since I do not have this on the local, so what I'll do is on the feature branch. So what I'll do is I'll check this out, but I'll check out this branch feature. Now I do not have the workspace or the readme.md file. I'll go to VCS, get merge changes, and I'll say merge my origin master with the feature branch. We have two options. Either I can merge it from the local, or I can go from origin master, or I can go from head. So I'll just click on the master. I'll strategy, I can choose resolve recursive as the default. So I'll choose the default one for now, and I'll click on merge. So the new file is added automatically, which is this, right? I'm on branch feature. I'll go to Edureka demo, and this is, so it is replaced ideally all the files for me. This is how the merge option will work for me. Once it is merged, I can push it to my branch. Let's now move to the rebasing in IntelliJ. To rebase a project, what we are doing is we check out the project in IntelliJ, which we already did. We all have two branches, feature and master. We make sure to check out both the branches in IntelliJ, which we already have. To start rebase, we go to VCS get rebase. Now let's try this. So I'll go to IntelliJ. I have two branches here, feature and master. Both are the remote branches as well as local. So I'll go to VCS, I go to get, and I'll say rebase. Now once I click on the rebase, I check the branch. So let's select base branch as master. So this will become a new base for the selected branch, and this will select the branch to rebase. It will be checked out first. So I just rebase it. Now this is asking for me to pick either whichever one I want. So I'll just start rebasing, because there was a rebase feature on the remote's origin feature. Now something happened. Okay, let's redo this. What I'll do is first, now since I'm on feature, I'll just edit the readme.md and see what is happening. This is a demo file for feature branch file. So I'll just write the branch name here, branch feature, and I'll go to VCS get, I'll just commit it first, comments for feature branch, and I'll go to VCS get push. Now two pushed are successful. Let's verify that. So this is the GitHub. This is a demo file branch feature. I'll check out the master branch, and I'll edit the readme.md. I'll write the branch master here. I'm keeping the second line as blank because this is where the, now I'll click on the commit, which is another option I have other than going from this, or other than going from VCS commit, I can directly use this commit, and I'll say commit for master branch. Now okay, the push is successful. Now I'll go to VCS, click on Git, and then I can rebase. So I'll choose master onto, so this is asking me to which command to pick. So I'll just click on edit, and I'll click on edit for this as well, and I'll just start rebasing. Now this is the rebasing stopped. I'll click on continue. So now I have a merge conflict, as you can see. So I can now go ahead and merge it, right? Accept yours, resume rebasing, and it has booked it on master. So let's go there and see if we have on the GitHub. Now this is a branch feature. This is for feature, which is good. For master, this has not been pushed yet. If I go to the master now, now let's push the changes in the Git. Okay, I have not merged these changes. That is why I got this message, which was bad. So what I'll do is I'll just merge both these changes. I click on apply. There was some issues in my readme.mds. What I'll do is I'll just remove the master one and I'll click it as it is, and let's commit this with the same message. Now let's push it. This is the feature branch and this is the master readme.md. So what it did is I reinitialize it now, but let's first understand that what is happening so far. So there is another option we have on the bottom pane, which is on the version control. So on the bottom control, I have the version control, which is here. I click on it, a window will pop up, and I click on log, wherein I can see what is happening so far. So we had the initial commit, and then we created a new branch, which is this. This branch is called as the feature, and this is running in parallel with the main branch, which is the master one. Now what I want is I want this branch to merge onto the master. So for this, what I'll have to do is I'll have to first check out the feature branch, and then I'll go to VCS get and click on rebase. I'll just pick this one, demo forget. There are a bunch of options I can do here, but I generally either do skip or I pick. So let's start rebasing now. Now if I go to version control and if I look at this, then this is now my main branch. So I have my branch feature and I have my normal branch. So rebase is successful some minutes ago and I have my rebase done. In the same way, I can create another branch and then I can rebase it again. Now what I'll do is so my master is now rebased onto the feature. I'll go to VCS again and I'll push it onto the remote. And if I go there now and I go to feature now, I have the branch feature, which should not be there once it is done. The current branch feature was rejected. Remote changes need to merge before pushing. I'm getting this. I don't know why I'm getting this. I messed up something. I say merge, and this is the conflict resolution. So I'll keep this. This is the head, and I'll just reject this. I'll click on apply. Yes. I'll have to again commit it. Okay, no changes detected. Let's push it. Now the push is successful after the merge. And if I see here now, then I have in the feature as well, I have the same, and on the master as well, right? And if I go to the log, then I can see this has been merged now. The feature has been now rebased onto the master. Merged removes tracking branch origin feature into feature now. So this is the rebase that we did. We also verified the changes on the GitHub UI, and we also saw this on the version control because this gives a better sense of what is happening in the project. So now let's look how to configure Git plugin in the Eclipse and how to perform various operations that we have performed same on the IntelliJ. So there are multiple ways to configure Git plugin or to install Git plugin. Now the first one is install new software, or we can go to Eclipse marketplace. We can use Eclipse Oxygen update size, or we can go to eGit P2 repository. So for new software install, we just have to go to Eclipse help, and then I click on install new software. I'll copy this eGit URL. I go there and I say, okay, this is my update site, and here I see the different softwares that are there for, or the eGit URL or the eGit software Git integration for Eclipse that are available for me to install. The other way is that I use the Eclipse marketplace, which is a much better way of installing any plugins. So it is available help. In help, I go to Eclipse marketplace, and here I can type my search query. In this, I go to this, click on the search, and will type Git. I hit enter, and here I get the different software. Git console 1.3 is also good, but the much better way for working with Git that I personally prefer is the eGit, which is here. Also along with this, I have also installed the Gitflow nightly, which we'll see in the coming slides. So we can go to just type git and we can install these two plugins. They are available for me here in the installed part. So once the plugins are installed, you can see them in the installed section. You can go to the screen and then click install and it will install the software for you. The other way can be that you can download the release, the corresponding release, the plugin directly, which I do not prefer because Eclipse Marketplace is a much better way to download the plugins. However, many times it might happen that you don't have access to, for example, you have some firewall restrictions in your company and you're not allowed to use the Eclipse Marketplace. So other way can be that you can download the plugin somewhere and then you can just click on it and then install it. But I always prefer that you go to the Eclipse Marketplace and then you install it. Even with firewall, this marketplace will be accessible to you. Let's work with Git using the Eclipse IDE. So the number one is I'll open the Eclipse, which I already have. I go to preferences and check the configuration. I add configurations. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the preferences. Within preferences, you can look at the team and then Git. Other way can be that you directly type Git. Within this, you go to configuration, and as you can see that I have my user settings already picked up. I had my system settings, which does not exist, and I have the repository settings. So I have 4 repositories right now. For this project demo, I have the demo repository with following entry. Before we begin anything, let's create a new project which is not linked to Git. So I'll open a plain vanilla project. Let's call it vanilla. Let's call it eGit demo. Nothing fancy here. I'm just creating a simple Java project. And now once I created the project, I have to configure the repository. To configure the repository, I'll just right click on it and I go to team and I just do share project. Now in this, I click on the repository to be created and I type in my project name, which is egit_demo. By default, it was taking the above project, which was already there, the demo one. I click on finish and then I click on finish. So now you see that there is an arrow sign, right, which means that the project is available for commit. It is not even in staged area, but this is a Git repository has initialized properly. We can verify using Git view. We don't have to do it because in eGit we can directly see this arrow sign, which means that this project is not yet added. The question mark means that this is the untracked files. So what I'll do is I'll add some files and then we push changes to the remote and then we verify the changes. So let's add some files in it. Let's create package structure. So com.edureka.taml, and I just add this to the staged area. So for that I'll do is I'll right click on it, then go to team, and then so this changes have changed a little bit. Let me click on the commit now before even stage, because generally there is an option to stage it, but once I have downloaded the Gitflow, I'm not getting this option. Let's directly go to commit. Let's see what happens. So there are no changes in the stage changes. So what I'll do is I'll just push these changes to the staged. Let me go back and let me create a new file. Let me first of all see if I can. So this is not in the stage, but this one is. So I'll go to team and I'll click on add to index. So this project is now in staged, right? I'll also create one Java file here. So let's create a class file demo. Close this one, and you see this is not in the staged area. So I go to right click on the project, on the file, or click on team and do add to index. So now you see that there's a plus sign appearing, which means that this is in the staged area. Now I go back again and I click team commit, and there these following files are added to the staged area, and I'll say initial commit. I click on commit and it is there. But right now, so far I have not added any remotes, right? If you remember, we used to do git remote -v command. So now what I'll do is I'll go to the project and I'll say push branch master. So once I do that, I get the remote name. So let's go to the remote name is origin. Let's get the URI. So the URI, we can use the existing project or we can create a new project. So I'm going to create a new repository here, not a project. Let's name this repository the same, eGit demo, and let's add the div. This is a demo repository for eGit. This is public. Okay, once the repository is there, I'll copy the URI, and this is the URL. I have the password already saved. If not, then you can just provide the password, and then you can click on the store in the secure store, so it won't be asking for the password again and again. Now the project changes are being pushed to the branch master. Now if I go to the project, if I refresh it, so I have this project available. Ideally the problem happened that this actually went egit. I made a little bit of mistake, but ideally this should have came a bit into it. Nevertheless, that's not a concern for us. So I go to demo and I have my demo Java as well with the same message, which was initial commit. So this is for initializing a new project in the Eclipse. UI options. So there are various websites which uses Git and provides all operations related to Git on their UI. The one is Bitbucket, which allows you free private repositories. If you remember, GitHub does not provide you the free private repository. Rather, it provides you only public, while the private repositories are available on the paid subscription. So this is the Bitbucket. Number one thing that I like about GitHub is the private repository. If I go to the pricing, then this is free for up to 5 users, and they are unlimited private repositories. Jira software integrated in projects pipeline. However, there are some premium plans on this or the paid plans which has different some additional benefits. For example, the unlimited users get added, and then if you go ahead, then you will have the merge checks, whitelist, two-step verification, smart mirroring, etc. The next one is the GitLab, which is, again, let me open the products for you for GitLab, which also uses the Git as the repository. The last one is the GitHub, which we are already aware of. So most of them are free, but as I said, few different plans get differ within each of them. So let's explore a little bit on the GitHub we have been using. We have explored it, but we have not known it yet. Once we log in into the GitHub, this is how our URL will look like, or the home page will look like. So we can see all the repositories, and in the repositories tab, for example, I have 8 repositories. These include all the repositories which I have forked or otherwise or created. For example, Spark Vagrant is forked, and Credit Card Analyzer, Nila Scrapper, Spark is again forked, right? We can create a new repository which we already saw, and for example, I can go to again and show you that how I generally create new repositories. So I'll go to new repository, and let's name it repo demo, and I'll provide demo repository for demo repository. Let's say I keep it public, and I also initialize the readme.md right away. I won't be adding a get ignore, but I'll add the license. So let's keep it Apache license 2.0 or JN general public license. You can also click on the license, on what license to choose, for example. So you can go through this site, and which will describe you what the license means, because free always does not mean free as a beer. I'll create a repository here, and then I have my license, and I have my readme.md added right away. This is a bare minimum repository I have created. I like this markdown file, so I'll change it, for example, right here. So markdown is a pretty nice way to create your project documentation. I have not provided any comments for now, but it's all right for now. I can also create a new branch here. So to create a new branch, I have to click on branch, and I'll create a new branch. So let's create the new branch feature, let's say. So this branch is now created from master, and I can change whatever I want here for branch feature, and let's a little size it as well. I'll add the message for branch feature, so I can quickly switch between the branches, and this is for master, and this is the feature branch. The next we saw is that I can commit from the GitHub. We already saw that I have committed these readme.md files, or the markdown files. I can also create a new file here. So I can go directly and I say create, and let's add the .gitignore file. This is something that I always add, and within gitignore I'll write all the files which I don't want to get committed or be shown into the project at all. So I'll just write tilde sign, because if I'm using vim then this always appear. I'll also add the hash star and backspace hash for the emacs file. I'll also add the get ignore. So all these files won't be added by default, not the get ignore, I want it to be included. Adding get ignore, and I'll commit this file. So I have this file now created in the master, not in feature. I can also create a pull request, right? So pull request is similar. If I have forked a project, for example, let's go back again to the new life scrapper, and I have created a pull request. So I have not created a pull request so far for this new life scrapper, but if I want, I can go to new pull request and then create a pull request. So this is generally done for the open source project, because we saw that in open source project there are so many users and they don't allow you to commit directly. You have to fork that project and work on it, and if you have some changes then you can request the project coordinator or the project lead to actually merge your changes in the original project. So for example, I'm on branch master. I have updated the readme.md. I'll just view the pull request. I have already created this pull request, right? So I have already opened it 7 days ago, and there are no conflicts with this base branch. So it is simple. I go to the project and I click on create new. Once I do the create new, then I can go to the pull request tab, locate the request, and then select the branches and then merge pull the request. So let me go to some other project and show it to you how they do it. So if I go to repositories again, let's take this credit card analyzer. This is also forked, I guess. Added dummy line. This was I opened 6 days ago, and here's what has happened. So I have one commits here, which is I have added dummy files. I have one file change, which is in the readme.md file, and I have zero checks or anything. Let's now look at one other very important piece, which is the Gitflow. So if you remember, while installing the plugin, I have asked you to also install the Gitflow. So I'll take you again there. Let's go to the marketplace and look at the install softwares. So this is the plugin that I'm talking about, Gitflow Nightly. You can install it and then you will have the Gitflow available. Now what we're going to do for Gitflow, we have already created our project, we have initialized our project, and then we will convert it to Gitflow. For example, the eGit demo, I'll just right click on it. So I'll show you the difference first of all, or let's convert it this one. So I right click on the project, I go to team, and then I say init Gitflow. So once I do that, then all these branches will be created automatically. So I have two branches, develop and the master by default, and then all of the branches will have the prefix. So I have the feature branch, hotfix, release, and the version tag prefix. I'm not providing any prefix for version tag. I click on OK, and this is now my Gitflow. So the Gitflow branch initialized. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new feature now, and then I'll stop that feature and I push that to the remote file. So let's go there, and I right click again, go to team, then go to Gitflow, and then I say start feature. I provide the feature name, so let's call it dashboard. Okay, I'm creating a dashboard feature. Now once that is there, I'll add a file, let's call it as a class file dashboard.java. I'll go to Gitflow, I'll first add it to index, I'll commit this file, and I'll say, for example, edit dashboard. This has been committed. Now I'll finish this feature. Since I have finished what is required, I'll go again to Gitflow and I'll say finish feature. Now as I do it, my branches will change automatically. So I'll just finish it with the default one. There are other options as well, cache and key branch, but I don't want it, so I'll use default one. Once that is done, my branch has changed. If you have noticed, then this branch was changed to, for example, feature slash the dashboard. Now this has been changed again to develop. And now let's push to the changes to the remote. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing it to the remote now. So what I'll do is I'll go to team, and then I already pushed it to the remote. Let's check the repository. So we create the repository eGit demo. not this one. So I go to repositories and I have my eGit demo. If I go to branch, then there is only master right now. Now I'll go to my project. I click on team and I say push branch develop. So this has been pushed. Now if I go there, then I have a develop branch as well. Refresh it and I have develop branch. I'll go to develop branch and I can see within this I have my project demo. I have dashboard, added dashboard. Now I have pushed changes we have verified on the GitHub. Let's create another feature. Let's go to Gitflow, start feature, and let's call it login. Now the branch has been changed to feature login. I'll create another class file and let's call it login details. I'll just add it to the index and then I'll click on commit. Okay, this has been committed, but this is not pushed onto the repository so far, or the repository is right now local. So I'll go again to team and I'll say push branch feature login. Okay, so this has been pushed there. I'll go to the project, so the GitHub page, the repository, and I'll check I have my feature login branch created there. Now within this I have login details. Now what I'm going to do is I will now, once my feature is complete and ready, I go again to Gitflow and I say finish feature. Now there is an upward arrow, which means there are changes which are not pushed to remote. So I'll right click again, go to team and say push to upstream. So what this step will ideally do, it will remove the directory and it will merge the feature branch, feature slash login, into the develop branch and provide the results. So let's go to 7 branch develop and this login details are added. So this is merged with the develop, not with the master, because if you go to the master, then this file don't even exist there. So there is no login, but if you go to develop, then you will see login details have been added. Now we have pushed the develop branch to remote and verified our changes. Now what we're going to do is we will create a new release. So let's create a new release. I'll go right click on it again, go to team, go to Gitflow and say start release. Let's call it 1.0. I'll modify the file. Let's modify demo release 1.0. Let's add this comment. I save the file. Then again I right click, go to team, add it to index, and I say commit, and I am saying release 1.0. Now again push this branch to the remote. So if I go refresh the page again, then I have another branch release 1.0 available, wherein in demo I have this comment for release 1.0. Now what I'm going to do is, once that is done, I'll click on finish release and public release. So let's right click on it, go to team, go to Gitflow, and then there is publish release. So we already pushed it upstream. I think there's no changes so far, because if I'll do publish release, then it will push onto the repository, which we already did with the upstream. Now let's finish it. I'll go to team again, go to Gitflow, and I'll say finish release. Now there are 2 changes for the cloud. So I go again team and I say push to upstream. So 2 changes are happening. Number 1, release 1.0 is going, and second, we're merging 1.0 into develop. They already happened. So now if I go to master now, sorry, not the master but the develop, then I have my release 1.0 there, and release 1.0 remains as it is because I have not used any other option. I've used the default one. And most of the time you won't have right to actually delete the directories right away, because you will have to keep the, not the directories but the branches right away. So you'll keep the branches, which is a good option, and some, as part of the maintenance, you can go ahead later on and then delete the branches that you no longer require. So we saw also the Gitflow. We saw the demo of Eclipse Git operations. We created a project and pushed it onto the Git repository. the GitHub repository, and then we manage the Git operation using different options. We also use the Gitflow in the Eclipse IDE. So there's one more thing that we will go through, which is managing Git operations using the source tree. Source tree is Git GUI. I download it for Mac OS. You can also, which is also available for Windows. So I'll click on the download. I agree to license agreement and click on download. I'm not sure the download has started or not. The source tree download is in progress. So this is unzipped automatically, I'm assuming. Let me see if this is the DMG file or not. This is the zip file. So I'll go to downloads now and I'll unzip it. This is not a DMG file, that was a Git app that they have created. I'll have to cancel it because this is not how it will work. This is the source tree.contents app. Let's look at the installation. Yeah, this is the app directly. I was assuming that this will be a DMG file. So let's try to open it. Generally this comes as a .dmg file. If you don't have the Bitbucket, you can go with the GitHub. I'll provide my GitHub username. Okay, this is for later. First, create a account. Created my GitHub account, my Bitbucket account. Okay, so now once I have created my Bitbucket account, I'll just log into it. So it will generate a token. I'll just provide my email address. So I'll sign up for Bitbucket Cloud now. I'll choose the username. I'll just use the same one at Edureka GitHub. Now I have the Bitbucket created here. Now I'm not sure why this should authorize me. I'm granting the access now. Now I am logged into the app using the OAuth now, and let's continue with it. So set global author details. Okay, we'll use the same. I do not have any repository so far, but this is how it will look like. Once it opens up, I'll create a new repository. So I'll say new. Let's clone it from URL, and let's clone it from the GitHub. So I'll clone the same egit demo. Okay, destination path is now. Let me first see if we start a new. So I'm cloning this into the bed bucket. This is cloned, and it's how it looks like so far. So I have, let's look at the branches now. Okay, this is for creating a new branch. Let's look at the branches now. This is my master branch right now, and this is how it looks like. So it is a very intuitive UI right now. So as you can see, I have origin developed. I have added the dashboard, then I have added the release into the Git. Following are the contents and the files, branches. I can also go ahead and work with it. I can push my changes into it. Alright, first of all, I can commit my changes. For that, I'll have to nothing in commit. I'll just drop the files here. So let's take one file. So what is happening so far, I'll just go to the project name. Let me go in the, so I'll go from here. I'll just go to, right, I'll go to git demo. I'll open this demo.java, and I'll add some comments into it. Now as soon as I change the file from the console, I can see that it has automatically picked up the file, and it is saying that there is one line that is added, which is here. I can either discard or stage, so I'll stage the hunk. So some changes have been staged from me. Now I again have the options to unstage it, batch, and then I'll see the unstaged files as well. So once that is done, I'll click on the commit, and I'll push some changes. Okay, now my changes have been committed, but they are not pushed ahead, pushed to the remote. So I'll just push it. Let me first verify on the remote as well. So let's go to the pet bucket, my repositories. So let's push it to the master now. I've been looking at the Gitflow. Okay, so this demo is pushed. This is now pushed into the my GitHub project. And I can see that there is a source tree demo, and I've pushed it from the same branch. Right, on the origin I have following branches, and I can branch as well. Now I have the develop branch on my local as well. I have the master branch. I can right click on it and say check out master, or I can say check out develop. So in develop I can see that there are different things that happen. Blue one is the master, red one is to develop, and I have release 1.0, and I have also had the feature branch. So you can explore the source tree as well, which is also good. If you ask me personal traits, then I'm more comfortable with the eGit plugin because I'm working with the IDE. If I'm not working in the IDE or I'm working in the Emacs, then I prefer much more the console. But it depends on your taste. Again, what is your preference? So we have completed the complete course. Thank you for today's session.